Hindi pa. Good morning po, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you are in the world. So we're starting our webinar for today on behalf of the Philippine Consulate General in Jeddah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I warmly welcome you all to our special webinar entitled Tubataha Reefs, a Living Heritage of the Filipino People in celebration of Philippine National Heritage Month. We are very delighted to have with us today not only members of the Filipino community here in Jeddah, but also environmental advocates, marine conservation enthusiasts, and our valued partners and friends from various institutions, not only here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and around the world but also around the world, including colleagues from fellow Philippine embassies and consulates. Salamat po for joining us. We're also especially privileged to welcome representatives from the youth sector and various universities in the Philippines. We have participants, registrants from Jose Rizal Memorial State University, from University of the East, from Mindanao State University, Trinity University of Asia, Pangasinan State University, Centro Escolar University, Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology, and the University of the Philippines. I'm not sure if he's here, but we are also likewise honored to welcome a participant from Yonsei University in South Korea. Your presence here today demonstrates that our marine heritage is not only a national treasure, but also a shared heritage of all peoples, one that transcends borders and unites us all in our collective responsibility to protect and preserve our heritage for future generations. So maraming salamat po. Thank you all for joining us as we celebrate Philippine National Heritage Month this May 2026. Before we formally begin, may we kindly ask everyone to check if your microphone is muted, and please keep it so throughout the presentation to avoid disruptions. We will open the floor for question and answer later po after the presentation. Meanwhile, participants are encouraged to submit their questions through the chat box here in Zoom, or you may later raise your virtual hand during the Q&A later in the program. For those who may wish to share the event with colleagues and friends, please note that today's webinar is also being broadcast live on the official Facebook page of the Philippine Consulate General, Jeddah. As an archipelagic nation, the Philippines has always shared a deep and enduring connection with the sea. Our oceans are not only sources of livelihood and biodiversity, but are also part of our identity, culture, and heritage as a people. Today's webinar highlights the Tubataha Reefs Natural Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site located in the municipality of Cagayancillo, province of Palawan, Philippines, and recognized globally as one of the world's most outstanding marine protected areas. Through our activity today, we hope to promote greater appreciation for marine biodiversity, environmental stewardship, and the importance of protecting our shared natural heritage for future generations. We're especially honored to have with us Miss Angelique Songko, the Protected Area Superintendent of Tubataha Reefs Natural Park and one of the Philippines' leading voices in marine conservation. To formally open the program, may we invite Consul General Romel Romato for his welcome remarks and the introduction of our resource speaker, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Crystal. Magandang umaga po mula dito sa Saudi Arabia, and a pleasant day to everyone. On behalf of the Philippine Consulate General in Jeddah, I am very pleased to welcome you to today's webinar in celebration of Philippine Heritage Month. Our program is entitled Tubataha Reefs, a Living Heritage of the Filipino People. I am especially delighted to see participants joining us from various sectors across the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Philippines, and different parts of the globe. A special welcome to our colleagues from our diplomatic and consular missions and different universities mentioned by Crystal a while ago, and all our friends from different communities. Your presence today reflects our shared commitment to preserving and appreciating our natural heritage, regardless of borders. As we observe Philippine National Heritage Month, we are reminded that our heritage extends far beyond our history, traditions, and culture. It is also deeply rooted in natural treasures that sustain and inspire us as a people. Among these treasures is the Tubataha Reefs Natural Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the most vibrant marine ecosystems on the planet. Tubataha is much more than a symbol of the Philippines' extraordinary biodiversity. It is a vital source of life. By acting as a critical breeding and spawning ground, it replenishes fish populations that support food security and livelihoods across the entire country. Protecting Tubataha, therefore, means safeguarding our natural heritage and ensuring a sustainable future for the generations who depend on the sea. Today's webinar gives us a timely opportunity to deepen our appreciation of this sanctuary and to better understand the importance of marine conservation and collective environmental stewardship. To guide us, we are deeply honored to be joined by Tubataha Reefs Natural Park Protected Area Superintendent, Ms. Angelique Sonko, affectionately known as Mama Ranger, one of the Philippines' foremost advocates for marine conservation. Since 2001, Ms. Sonko has dedicated her career to protecting Tubataha and championing community-based environmental protection. In recognition of her remarkable leadership and lifelong advocacy, she was honored with the prestigious International Woman of Courage Award by the United States Department of State in 2025, in the presence of the Department of State Secretary Rubio and the First Lady Melania Trump. And she was twice named a Hero of the Environment by the Worldwide Fund for Nature Philippines, or WWF Philippines. Through her efforts, Tubataha has become a globally respected model for sustainable stewardship. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate Philippine Heritage Month, I hope today's discussion inspires a deeper sense of pride, awareness, and action in protecting the natural wonders that form the very fabric of our Filipino identity. Thank you all for being here. We look forward to a meaningful and insightful presentation and discussion. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Consul General Rumato. So without further ado, let us now welcome Ms. Angelique Mama Ranger Sonko.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here to join you in this very important day of International Day for Women in Maritime and National Heritage Month. Thank you very much. It's our honor to be able to share the advocacy of Tubataha and marine conservation. I have been the Protected Area Superintendent since 2001, as our Consul General said, and I am the Mama Rangers of the Rangers. That just means I nag them a lot, or I expect too much from them sometimes. But yeah, that's what I've become. I think since many years ago, I've shared a lot of times and stories, and just shooting the breeze with the Rangers, that they have become very familiar with me. They know I love them, and so they love their jobs as well. So, magandang hapon po sa lahat, and a warm welcome to our distinguished guests, friends, and the Filipino community in Jeddah and elsewhere. As we celebrate National Heritage Month and the International Day for Women in Maritime, I want to take you on a quick journey away from the desert sands and to dive straight into the deep blue waters of our homeland. Before I make my presentation, let us start with some trivia. I'm not sure if you have watched the movie Finding Nemo. I think a lot of people would have seen this movie. But do you know that if the movie were scientifically accurate, diba, si Nemo has a dad named Martin, his mother died, and then he stayed with his dad Martin, who was very overprotected of him, overprotective of him. But do you know that in the wild, clownfish are all born male? There is just one single dominant female in these groups. So there's one woman and everyone else is male. And if this dominant female dies, the male becomes a female. And so Nemo's dad would have been his mom after the death of his mom. So in the fish kingdom, the several species do this. If there's a lack of female, some male fish would turn female or the other way around. It's a fascinating world, the underwater world. So in the ocean, it's not always the female that gets pregnant. Let me just show you. I forgot, that's Nemo. And here you see a seahorse giving birth. There's even a baby just coming out. See, in the seahorse kingdom, it is the male that gives birth. The female gives the eggs to the male, and the male actually goes through the labor pains and gives birth to the kids. But since we are commemorating the International Women in Maritime Day, let us give a quick shout out to the male seahorse for doing his part in balancing parental duty. Sana ganun din in real life, so that then we won't have to suffer the childbirth alone. These bizarre and beautiful stories are happening right now in our very own backyard. The Philippines sits at the center of global marine biodiversity, and the crown jewel of our national maritime heritage is a place called the Tubataha Reefs in the middle of the Sulu Sea. It is a place where nature thrives, but it only thrives because of partnerships, because of dedicated people, our marine park rangers who protect it daily. And to show you exactly what we are fighting to protect, let me bring Tubataha to you through this short video.
Close your eyes and imagine this. You are looking into an unfathomable, endless blue sea. It calls to you. You are irresistibly drawn to what lies beneath the surface. And then you plunge into a new world. A world so unlike the one above it, yet which looks and feels familiar. A place of extraordinary beauty, where the colors of nature astound. Where mighty currents spread life over vast distances. A world of abundance and power, fragility and tenderness, mystery and magnificence. It is one of the world's greatest marine ecosystems, and it is here in the Philippines. Open your eyes, because this world is real. This is Tubataha. The Samal people call it a long reef exposed at low tide. It is a gem in the middle of the Sulu Sea, 90 nautical miles from Puerto Princesa, Palawan. Explore 97,000 hectares of the dramatic seascapes of Southeast Asia's only purely marine UNESCO World Heritage Site, and let it fill your senses. two atolls on the north and south formed over millennia and an adjacent reef known as Jessie Beasley make up the Tubataha Reef's natural park. It sits at the apex of the Coral Triangle, global center of marine biodiversity, sheltering most of the corals found on the planet. Rare and endangered creatures from microscopic blooms to massive whale sharks find a haven here. Ascending to the surface, you discover that the splendor below is reflected in the beauty of the land and the sky. For Tubataha nurtures even above water. Bird Islet on the North Atoll, a globally important rookery, reverberates with the calls of tens of thousands of seabirds. In the South Atoll, a lighthouse guides mariners across the treacherous waters of the Sulu Sea, while in the North Atoll, the Ranger Station, home of the Marine Park Rangers who safeguard the park, is a solitary bastion of stewardship. Tubataha sustains, carrying fish and coral larvae as far as the mainland to feed thousands of Filipinos who rely on the bounty of the sea. And Tubataha also captivates as the crown jewel among the Philippines' stunning dive sites. Tourism is Tubataha's main benefactor, contributing most of the funds needed each year to manage the park. Its custodians work closely with government and the private sector to safeguard this marine heritage. In Tubataha, every visitor is a privileged guest, and every guest must treat this kingdom with respect. There is no place for fishing, extraction, destruction, or harassment of the denizens of this sanctuary. Tubataha is a gift that has nourished the soul for generations. Only through our shared understanding and commitment can Tubataha remain a reality, a dream well within our reach. All you have to do is open your eyes.
So there we are. Nakita po ninyo, you saw that Tubataha is in the center of the Sulu Sea, 92 nautical miles from Puerto Princesa. It is 97,000 hectares with a 350,000 hectares of buffer zone. It is composed of the North and South Atoll and Jessie Beasley Reefs. So it takes about 10 to 17 hours to get there by boat, depending on the speed of the vessel. Usually it takes scuba diving vessels that go there about 15 hours. And so Tubataha is protected under Republic Act 10067 or the TRNP Act. The act provides for the management of the park, which is a 21-member multi-sectoral management board. Representatives come from the armed forces, the private sector, the academe, and people's organizations. And under the Tubataha Protected Air Management Board is the Tubataha Management Office, of which I am the head, and we are charged with the day-to-day affairs of the park. So Tubataha has had several international distinctions, as the Consul General informed you earlier. We are a World Heritage Site. You know what? The core of the UNESCO World Heritage is that irreplaceable and unique places are put on this list, and it is the role of our generation to transform it to future generations of humankind. The country, the Philippines, has actually promised the rest of the world, we're going to take care of this for all of you. And that's the promise of a World Heritage Site. And we are also an ASEAN Heritage Park. We are a Ramsar site. Ramsar is a convention on wetlands for seabirds that are congregating. So we are part of that. In the International Maritime Organization, they also have the equivalent of a marine protected area. They call it particularly sensitive sea area. So we are a PSSA under the IMO. And in the whole of Asia, there are 3. 2 are in Indonesia and 1 here in the Philippines. We are the first one. And Indonesia was inscribed in 2024. We are also under the GLORES system, the Global Refuge System. We were named one of the best managed protected areas in the world, with the US and with Colombia, and it's one of our proudest moments to be recognized, because usually recognitions like this only happen to areas in the north. The advanced countries usually have this awards, and we were really, really proud of that moment. Very recently, we received an ISRA designation, which is an important shark and ray area. We have the highest density of white tip and gray reef sharks on record in the world at this moment. And so why is Tubataha important? All marine areas are important. Let us just put that first in perspective. But let's talk of Tubataha at this time. It is very important because a thriving biodiversity leads to an ecosystem balance. We understand why we need our ecosystem to be balanced so that it continues to provide the goods and services that we require from nature. And so we need a balanced ecosystem. A balanced ecosystem is more resilient to climate change, to storms and things like that. And the ocean regulates our climate. Also, Tubataha contributes to food security, as our Consul General said earlier. It is the source of fish and coral larvae that enriches the Sulu Sea. The economic impacts is also financial support for jobs. There are 60% of the Philippines rely on the marine environment for food and for work and for livelihoods. And so it is a source of jobs, food security again, and a healthy environment is a massive economic engine. Because again, like we said earlier, for food and other services. Tubataha also the ocean has impacts on health. It is a natural pharmacy. I just wrote here the title of a study that was published in 2023. It's such a tongue twister for me that I'm going to leave it to you to read. But it just says that the ocean is a frontier for discovering new generation antibiotics and anti-cancer meds. The scientists say that we have almost depleted the possible sources of anti-cancer and antibiotics that are found on land. Now they're looking for a new frontier. They're going to the ocean. And they found a novel bacteria. Is that? Yeah. It's giving me a nosebleed at this time. So yeah, they found something in the sand in Tubataha that they think would be an antibiotic and anti-cancer med. It contributes to food security and nutrition, and natural environments reduce stress, contributing to mental health and well-being. Diba, no? When we are tired, we are stressed, we go out into the mountains, we go into the sea or the beach, and it helps us to relax. Tubataha is also an icon of cultural expression in the Philippines, of cultural expression and pride. You will see that we're in the 1,000 peso bill. It's institutionalized pride. You saw that? My friends, when I go abroad, my friends always say, can I have a token, just a remembrance? And it's hard, because 1,000 is not something you give for a remembrance. Like our group in the World Heritage Marine Site Managers is like 53 people. I can't afford to give each of them a remembrance. So no, they just take a picture. They all want their sites to be in their country's bill as well. So it elevates the park from a local natural wonder to a sovereign symbol of national wealth. Nakaka-proud po talaga. It signals a shared national pride in being the global center of marine biodiversity. In art and visual design, it's also there in potteries. It has inspired artists to do work, and the Miss Universe Philippines costume is inspired by Tubataha. It's really very colorful. Yeah, the first time I looked at it, I found it overly colorful. But in truth, if you dive and go to Tubataha or at least snorkel there, it's actually that color. So, it's really nice. And artists turned environmental issues into a personal cause, encouraging people to support conservation. There are several music songs that have been inspired by Tubataha as well. And so the music frames environmental protection as a shared civic responsibility. So we feel that we are connected in this responsibility to take care of the environment. So also commercial partnerships with several watch brands. The watch that was first done, inspired by Tubataha, was the Oris watch. And just recently, last year, the Philips Stein watch was also manufactured. Portions of the sales funds ranger operations in Tubataha. Therefore, it converts global retail into a law enforcement budget. And then the people who wear this become accidental billboards, diba? Because they're wearing the watch and turns the owner into an ad for Tubataha. And they talk about their watch because watch people, I heard, are crazy about, they talk about their collections and all that. And so it takes Tubataha into elite spaces that environmental campaigns rarely reach. Hindi ko nga po na-afford yung Oris watch. And the Philips Stein watch, we were given the first sample of the watch. So at least I have that one. Also, the youth are mobilized and join the activism in protecting the marine environment. Standard School projects shift to youth activism when students take their work out of the classroom and use it to influence the public. These young students from the Ateneo de Manila won a contest in Malaysia late last year. It's a Lego contest, actually. And so they were inspired by Tubataha. They did a Tubataha themed project and they won. And on the right here, you will see a float with a scuba diver and all. And that's also an expression of the youth during one of the parades in Manila. And so these are the many ways that Tubataha has entered the consciousness of the Filipino people. From a natural wonder, it has become a cultural anchor. Tubataha is no longer just a remote place in the middle of the sea. Through money, art, music, it is woven into the daily life of the Filipino. It transforms environmental conservation into a core cultural value, making the protection of nature an essential part of what it means to be Filipino. And so now we go to talk about the ocean. The ocean is our planet's heart and lungs. It produces 50% of the oxygen on Earth and absorbs 25% of our emissions. It also captures 90% of the excess heat from our emissions. And because of that, ocean acidification is caused by the 25% CO2 emissions that it absorbs, and global warming is caused by the 90% excess heat that the ocean takes in. And so these are the issues globally that our ocean is facing. We have done a recent study on ocean acidification, and we are not yet in that bad a shape, but warming is an issue for us. And here are our main issues. Let me bring you to the problems that we face now. If you see the shark on the left, it has a fishing line around its body. It's been swimming like that for years. This year, we saw another, this is a gray reef shark. We saw another gray reef shark with a rope like that. We don't know if it's the same one, because otherwise it won't be able to grow if it had a rope around its body. And I don't know who will be brave enough to take that rope out. Do you know that sharks have 7 rows of teeth? You know, if one row disappears, another row grows back. And so you don't like to go close, although we would really like to be able to help this one. You will see the one below is another gray reef shark, a juvenile. While swimming through the waters of Tubataha, far away in this pristine land, in this pristine marine park, it swims through a plastic bag and dies of asphyxiation. We found it on the reef like that, with a plastic bag over its head. Our marine park rangers regularly do coastal and in-water cleanups, and you will see that most of these are fishing discards. You know that 80% of all marine debris found in the ocean came from land. And that's us. That's probably us, you know. And of all the marine debris found in the ocean, 10% is fishing discards, and that's what they have there. And you will see that it's not just the discards, it's also coated in tar. There's oils. Many ships, over 1,500 ships traverse the Sulu Sea every year. And we think that it probably came from small discharges of oil. In 2024, we saw this Tony nurse shark, which is vulnerable. It's an endangered species of shark. We saw it caught in fishing lines. Look at this fishing line. It's a lot of fishing line that some fisherman had thrown overboard. And we saw this Tony nurse shark already very tired and close to death. The good thing is, you see that the reef is showing the water is too shallow. We waited until the water, the high tide came in, and so this shark was able to swim out. You no longer find Tony nurse sharks in other parts of the Philippines. They're very hard to see now. And so this single one is important to us. And if you see this video, look at this whale shark. Divers saw it in Jesse Beasley Reef, swimming with like 200 meters of net and line, fishing line. And not just that, the fishing line also has barnacles. You know, shells had grown in the nets and in the lines so that it has added weight on the poor thing. We don't know what happened to it because when divers tried to help it, it swam really, really deep and it was never seen again. So sad, diba? So let me just review the decomposition rates of marine debris. I hope that it will bring to mind our contribution to the marine debris problem. An apple core is just 2 months. Very common is the plastic bag, which is in nature from 10 to 20 years. And it's not like it disappears after 20 years. It just becomes tiny, tiny nanoplastics that we can no longer see. But it's still there because these are forever plastics. We will die, but they will remain. Tin cans are 50 years. Foam cups, we always buy coffee in these foam cups, right? And that's going to take 50 years. Aluminum cans are 80 to 200 years. At least these are recyclable. We can use it again. Batteries are really bad. You know, it's like 100 years. And not only that, it has toxic materials inside. Very common as well is the plastic beverage bottle or the mineral water bottle. Diba? It's convenient kasi. It's so inconvenient to bring your own tumbler because you forget it. It's heavy. You lose it anyway. And so people just go, you know, to any store and buy a mineral water without realizing that that is going to be with us for 450 years. Before we lose sight of it, again, it just becomes nanoplastics. Diapers take longer, plastic cutlery. That's why in Tubataha, we have outlawed mineral water bottles and plastic cutlery. Those are not allowed on the ships, any of the ships. So fishing lines, look, are 600 years. Bottles are 1,000,000 years, but at least they are recyclable. You know also that even if so many people promise that, I'm recycling it anyway, in the whole world, only 10% of plastics are recycled, even in the advanced nations. See, so, you know, it will really help if we stop using them. Another one of our problems is illegal fishing. Although illegal fishing has largely been almost eliminated in Tubataha in the last 10 years, we've had 5 cases of illegal fishing. But this happened just last month. And of course, the ranger should take a photo of the ship, of the bangka, the boat with the GPS to show the judge that it was really, inside the park. It's for fighting a case. 17 people from a very, very poor island in the Visayas using blast fishing, dynamite fishing. They had no hooks, they had no nets. Their only means of fishing was dynamite fishing. The good thing was that dive operators who saw them reported to us, and the rangers arrested them before they were able to fish in the park. So even if we have very few cases of blast fishing, one case will have a very big impact. Not only in that it will destroy corals, it's also sending a signal that they can fish and not be caught, and so it will attract more illegal fishers. And so we have to be able to show that if you come, we'll catch you and send you to jail. We try very hard. And you see this beautiful, beautiful coral. It's white, it's immaculate, but the truth is it is bleached. That's an example of a bleached coral. When the water temperature is too high, the animal that lives in that coral leaves. It's the thing that gives the coral the color. So the animal leaves, and if it does not return within 2 or 3 days, it dies. The coral dies. And we've had a lot of this in the last few years because of the temperature of the water, which is very, very high. Again, because of what we talked about earlier, the warming caused by 90% absorption of heat by the ocean. This is also a problem for us. You'll see this islet. This islet houses the largest and most viable population of seabirds known in Southeast Asia. Many seabirds nest in the trees, and some seabirds nest on the ground, but we have lost the trees. You will see that in 2025, in the photo below, there are no more trees left, and you will see those box-like things. We have planted trees in them, and we have also made what we call seabird hotels so that they can nest. They will think it's a tree, as if we're fooling them. No? They will just do this build these seabird hotels, and at least the birds use it to nest. Otherwise, we would lose a species, and these species are internationally listed, and we cannot lose it. It's a shame for us if a species becomes extinct during our watch. Erosion, again, because of the loss of trees, it's very easy to erode. Even the wind and the rain erodes the sand, and so we get this. And our response to these issues include law enforcement. These are our guards. They do patrols regularly, and they inspect boats. They live in this ranger station, the most beautiful of ranger stations in the world, I say. A ranger station only a mother can love, perhaps. And the rangers stay there for 2 months at a time. The rangers come from the Philippine Navy, the Philippine Coast Guard, and the local government of Cagayancillo, which is has political jurisdiction over Tubataha, and our TMO rangers. And so there's 12 of them there at the time, and they stay there for 2 months. This is the dream. This is the new ranger station we have been dreaming of. The design was approved in 2013. Never mind that was 13 years ago. Right now, some construction is going on, and our dream is to transfer the rangers from the old station, which is really no longer viable, and to move them to this new station. Isn't it beautiful? It's like a spaceship in the middle of the ocean. I can't wait for it to get completed. And we conduct research. How do you know if your actions and your strategies are working? Well, if what am I doing is correct, there should be fish there. The coral cover should remain the same. The seabird should still be there, etc. And so we do research. We study in this case, the turtles. We learned that the turtles stay in Tubataha for 13 to 17 years. When they are young, they arrive. And when they're old, they leave to get married. So Tubataha is a juvenile developmental habitat for turtles. So we only get young ones. We get very few adult turtles that nest in the bird islet. So we do this, we do seabird surveys, we count the seabirds. This is Segundo, one of our oldest rangers. In the early morning, he's up and about counting the birds. And by afternoon, look at him. It looks like he has given up. It's quite difficult to count 42,000 birds. And so there is Segundo, really tired from a long day of counting birds. And we manage our visitors. One of our famous visitors was Prince Albert of Monaco. He came and dived into Bataha. And our rangers, you see them here, inspect the dive boats. We go and check if their permits are there, if they have proper papers. So the rangers do that all the time. It's also good for the guests to see that there's a presence. So if they don't see anyone, they think they can do anything and, you know, violate regulations. So this is a good way of reminding our guests that I'll be watching you or something. And there we go. We also install moorings so that the boats don't throw anchors. We drill into the hard substrate of the rocks, and then we put moorings so that they tie to the moorings rather than throw anchors. So you will see below here is a coral head with some crinoids. It's called a crinoid in there. You see the coral head has some hair, but our diver has no hair. You know, I was telling him we should transfer it to his head. But yes, that's what we do. And so the lessons we have learned so far is that institutional infrastructure is as important, if not more important, than the physical one. There is a management board that says what can be done and what should not be done, that institutionalizes rules and regulations. There are protocols for enforcement and for visitor management, and these are the infrastructure we talk about, the institutional infrastructure. The physical infrastructure would be the patrol boats and, you know, the ranger station and all of that. If you did not have a proper institutional infrastructure, you know, it's a waste because nothing is going to happen in your protected area. And there are studies worldwide that show that the capacity to manage is the main predictor of success. It's not money. It's not the number of people. Because always, if you talk to an agency, they would say, oh, because we lack people and we lack funds. Yeah? Isn't that the common response when you ask for something or request for help? But then they found out that no, it's your capacity to manage. And capacity to manage, of course, comes from trainings and exchanges, etc. So first, we also established the non-negotiables to balance conservation and the visitor experience. Our boat operators know that we can negotiate, for example, the permitting system or the, you know, stuff like that. We can negotiate that, but we cannot negotiate divers that are careless, that touch coral or kick corals with their fins and stuff like that. Those are the non-negotiables. If you destroy and affect the park, then you don't come and visit us. We don't actually need their money. If that money we're going to have to spend watching them, right? And so the dive operators are our partners in the work that we do. And there is no I in conservation. We all know that. We always need partners to work with us because we can't do the job alone. There will always be challenges, but we can overcome them all. Because together we have the wit to do any task set before us. We have the stubbornness to see it through to the end. And we have the pride to do it well. Di ba naman ganyan tayong mga Pilipino, no? Yeah. And so if you see this picture, this is a barracuda. It's just that the barracuda is in front of the guy, but it's actually close to the size of the diver. It is a giant that was always staying under the boats, under the shade of the boats, and so people could take a picture of it. And so may I request our audience and our participants here to take action. Let's prepare for a little inconvenience, which I just said. For example, in the case of the mineral water bottle, it's inconvenient to bring your own tumbler, but, you know. So let's learn more about the environment and encourage others to do the same. Let's avoid generating more trash by consuming less. You know that to care for something is inconvenient. Yes, if you come to think of it. like if you had children, you had to wake up early and stuff like that you do, but you don't mind doing it because you love them, right? And it's the same with caring for the environment, It's inconvenient to bring your own tumbler, but you don't care because you don't like to trash the earth, right? And so that's the ask and that's the call. And please support conservation efforts near you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mama Ranger, for that truly inspiring and eye-opening presentation. Maraming salamat po. Your insights have opened our eyes not only to the beauty of our marine resources, especially the Tubataha Reefs, but also yung pagiging fragile niya, the fragility of our marine ecosystems, and that we have the responsibility that we all share in protecting them. As you've said, there is no I in conservation. Niisip ko rin sabi ko, is there an I? Nandun siya sa Tion. Tion, but there is no I in conservation
The
because
I meaning me.
yes,
Yeah.
because we
Yeah,
all
true.
play a part. We all play a
Yes.
part in protecting and conserving our marine environment, and that this is a shared heritage not only of Filipinos but of all humankind. And
Yes.
as someone who was born and raised in Palawan, I've never been to Bataha, pero through your stories and your presentation today, you've given me us a wonderful glimpse into the beauty and richness of our marine heritage, and of course the importance of conserving this extraordinary paradise located in the heart of the Philippines. And so thank you very much po. Maraming salamat again,
Pleasure.
Mama
Pleasure.
Ranger. And so we've now come to a part where our participants can ask their questions. I believe there is one already in the comment box or in the chat box. This is just a comment po. So may I just read from Ma'am Loretta Laririt. Thank you very much, Mama Ranger. Dami ko pong nalaman at natutunan. Ayan. And
Loretta.
si Miss Carmen, I was fortunate to visit and dive to Bataha last month. Wow, congratulations.
wow.
And had the pleasure to chat with two rangers at the ranger station. I was told I missed you. O si Mama Ranger by a few days. Would have loved to have your autograph. You autograph my copy of Mama Ranger Diaries. To Bataha is the most beautiful place I have ever dived in. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
what you and your team do. Ayan po. And there is a question po from Mr. Ayan Solina. Hello po, going back to the slide on the installation of mooring buoys. Tama po ba? May I ask what type of mooring system was used? Also, has there been any evaluation or monitoring conducted to determine whether this innovation has a lower negative impact on the coral reef bed compared to the traditional anchoring methods? Medyo technical po yun.
Oo. Yes, Ayan. We do the embedment method. Yes, embedment they drill. It's a hydraulic drill. It creates a 4-inch bore, a 4-inch hole, and then we put an eye and cement it in that hole. And it actually is able to carry the weight of a lot of the boats. Oh, of course, we don't do just one. We would do 10 of them in an array. And so, yes, it has worked so far because I know I've been diving into Bataha since the 80s when dive boats used to throw anchor and damage a lot of the reef. And so, yes, there are also studies all over the world that this method of moorings is better than, of course, anchoring. There are other methods, but we're actually in search of newer technologies for installing moorings. But meanwhile, this is what we use, and they have worked so far.
Salamat po. And if anyone in the Zoom who would like to raise their question live, you can raise your hand and you can unmute yourself. While waiting, I have a question po to Mama Ranger. Oh, Conjan has either a question or a comment, sir, please.
Yeah, please go ahead. Ikaw muna.
Yes, sir. So, yung question ko po is, as to the species in Tubataha, what are some of the most fascinating or rare marine species that we can find po in Tubataha? You mentioned earlier this shark, but are there other species that are endemic to Tubataha or probably critically endangered marine species that thrive in Tubataha?
Yes, thank you for that question. There are a lot of species that are endangered that are found there. Most of them are corals. About 150 species of corals that are endangered are found in Tubataha. The thing is, when you say Tubataha, people think about big things like the whale shark or the manta ray, the hammerheads, the tiger sharks. We have those, but they're not always there, you know. You see them, but it's not like they're tied to this place and you'll see them every time you pass this dive site, but they are there. But the true beauty of Tubataha is the corals. You know that we have 300 plus species of corals. 90% of all coral species in the Philippines is found there. And so it's a veritable garden. And that alone makes me cry sometimes when I look at how beautiful it is and how many years it took for this small coral patch to grow into this magnificent beauty. That's why, but a lot of people, when they don't see whale sharks, they're sad. Sometimes I'm like that as well, myself, because the other boat would see a whale shark or the other divers would see a manta ray and I'd miss them, you know. But still, the real beauty is in the reef itself. Not many reefs in the world look like that anymore.
Thank you po. And now we can have Conjan, and after him, Dr. June Abrahano is also raising his hand.
Okay, thank you, Crystal. Of course, first of all, gusto ko lang i-greet belatedly si Ma'am Ranger ng Happy International Day for Women in Maritime.
Thank
That
you.
day, special day is celebrated on the 18th of May. So very, very appropriate yung ating discussion ngayon. And I congratulate you po, Ma'am. Mama Ranger, for your hard work, for your fantastic work in protecting Tubataha Reef internationally, hindi lang nationally. So, yun po. I'm also happy to see many colleagues joining us this morning, and especially from the universities, the academic institutions. My question is, how can our diplomatic post and also our universities help in your advocacy po? How can we promote the protection of Tubataha Reefs as our national heritage po? I really appreciate the part when you said that we need the support of everybody, of everyone. Hindi lamang financial support or yung mga human resources, but the most important part is the capacity to manage. So how can our diplomats and our academics help in your advocacy po? Because I know a lot of people are very interested in the topic and also in contributing to the protection of our national heritage, specifically to Bataha Reefs po, from different parts of the world. And of course, we look forward to welcoming you here in Jeddah. As you are aware po, we are surrounded by the Red Sea. Ito pong Jeddah.
Wow!
Opo, nandito
Yes.
yung Red Sea. And
Ang ganda po ng Red Sea.
tama po, tama po. So maybe you can visit us here para makita niyo rin po kung ano yung mga efforts ng ating Saudi counterparts. Maybe we can promote some collaboration in protecting our marine environment.
Wow.
We have many researchers here from the academe. We have academics po from the King Abdullah University of Science and Technology.
Wow.
I think Mr. Abrahano, Professor Umbao are here. Professor Abrahano is here, I think, joining us. Baka may question din siya mamaya. And actually, yung kanilang campus po ay nasa napakagandang lugar po, overlooking the Red Sea. So
Wow,
it's a
fantastic.
very rich resources here, and I think hindi lamang po sa environmental side, kundi sa institutional side, maybe we can collaborate or maybe we can explore many opportunities for partnership po. So gusto ko lang balikan yung aking question, ano po ang role na pwede naming gampanan? Ano yung maitutulong po namin bilang mga nandito sa abroad, bilang mga diplomats, Filipino diplomats, and maybe academics who are joining many conferences, not only conferences of course, but also research projects and the like. So maraming salamat po. Good to see you here, Mama Ranger po.
Hi, thank you po. Capacity namin to do research is not that extensive at this time. And in fact, Sir June, nag-imbita nga po kami ng we're inviting students in their master's thesis or dissertations to conduct studies in Tubataha. Because then it will help us generate more knowledge and how to conserve the area. Because otherwise, on our own, we won't be able to do those studies. We have a very young research team, and although we are developing our capacity, and we have the support of the local institutions, the UP Marine Science Institute and other institutions, we still need to develop capacity. So yeah, if you have students you think you can interest to do their studies about Tubataha, that would be really helpful. And the advocacy alone is really important, just to spread the word. I remember a few years ago, we caught illegal fishers in Tubataha, poachers, and they were going to fly out of Palawan without paying for their crimes, because they were being sent back to Manila. And so many people joined us at the airport to block their exit. And so even tricycle drivers, students, and people from all sorts and all walks of life were there to help us to protect Tubataha. And that is very important. The media spreads the word, shares it, because so many people have not heard of us. And because we're far, we're out of mind, we're out of sight. And so there's a whole group of people that don't even know we exist. And so with your help, then we can develop a constituency that supports conservation in Tubataha. And as you said, it's not just the funds, it's the moral support. Sometimes our rangers think they're doing things in isolation, they're all by themselves and all that, but it's good to know that people appreciate what they do. And sometimes we get letters from children sent to them and all that. So, there are many ways. And it's not only that you are able to help Tubataha directly, but let's remember that the ocean has no walls and no boundaries. And so whatever you do next to the ocean near you or next to you is already a help. Don't discard, like we said earlier, marine debris is a worldwide problem now. And in fact, the United Nations is even established a group just to talk about marine debris. And so, yeah. Personally, by ourselves, we know that we can do something, and that's at least not to make the problem worse. Thank you po. Thank you po. I hope I answered your question, sir.
Thank you po. Thank you, Mama Ranger.
Thank you po. And Dr. June?
Hello. Thank you very much, Ms. Angelique, for your wonderful presentation. Always inspiring. You and your team, what you're doing, and it's really something that many people at KAUST, the university that was mentioned by both Vice Consul and our Consul. It is a university that was actually located on the shores of the Red Sea, not by accident. It's actually the King Abdullah actually identified it as a place because it is in fact meant to be a university that sort of helped shepherd the management and conservation of coral reefs and other wonderful ecosystems in the Red Sea. So if you ever have a chance to visit Jeddah or Saudi Arabia, we would love to welcome you to our campus and perhaps see some of the things that we're doing that might resonate with you. We have some coral reefs, which we call the Coral Village, where we are testing some wonderful ways that they can be conserved and they could be protected. And as well, up in the northern part of the Red Sea, there is a major project that KAUST is undertaking to actually rebuild and restore some coral reef systems around the Shusha Island. And this coral restoration is currently the largest coral restoration in the world. And
Wow.
in association with that, we built a nursery where we actually raise and rear, and also try to understand the abilities of various coral species to kind of adapt to specific conditions, including coral warming. The ocean warming that you had mentioned. So just a quick question of curiosity. I know that your group, in addition to many others, institutions, universities, foundations, are monitoring these various reef systems in Tubataha. I wonder if there is a mechanism that these observations of these various groups are being compiled and integrated to perhaps understand these more subtle changes in the coral species composition, coral cover, and so forth, so that we can have some kind of a method to understand any early signs of ecosystem change, the sort of shifts that might be slower and not as visible as these wonderful things that you have shown us.
Yes, sir. We conduct annual fish and coral monitoring and seabird. Those are our regular activities. And yes, we are able to see some trends. And like if there are institutions that conduct research here, those researches should respond to our needs that are verbalized in our management plans. It's not just beautiful science, it has to be
Yes.
something that will help us with the management. For example, a study showed that in one particular area, it's a diving area, the corals was decreasing due to cyanobacteria and the overgrowth of sponges. And so what do? We curtail diving activities in that particular area as a management response
Yeah.
to a trend, to a negative trend that is happening in one of the dive sites. And so through those things, we're able to develop rules and to tailor our responses
Yeah.
to environmental changes in the park. And yes, we have a lot of help, and most it's in our research permit that the results of the study should be submitted to us within such and such a time. And so, yeah, most of our rules came from those studies.
Yes.
And if you came and studied here, you'll be able to contribute to that.
Well,
Yeah,
that,
sir.
that's
Come
a
and think
wonderful
about the
invitation.
study.
And any time any of my colleagues, marine scientists, coral experts, learn that I am originally from the Philippines, they always ask me about Tubataha. And unfortunately, I myself have not had the privilege of having visited your wonderful location there, but I hopefully will be able to. So I appreciate the response to the question.
Yes, sir. You will be proud to be Filipino when you come and see what we have here in our country. Come and visit us, sir.
I
Ayun po,
would love to.
inimbitahan ko po kayong lahat na nandito ngayong hapon. Come and visit and be proud of being Filipino because we have
Thank you.
such a beautiful place.
Thank you very much.
Thank you po. Thank you, Conjan, Romel, and Dr. June for your thoughtful questions and yung suggestions niyo po for future partnerships and collaborations. Very exciting, and so we hope to see not only from our end here in Saudi, but also other participants exploring these opportunities in the future. Meron pa po tayong mga questions sa ating meron pa po tayong questions. Sorry, na-mute ko yata. From our chat box, from Miss Laririt. Tanong lang po, ano po ang pinakamalaking banta na kinakaharap ng Tubataha sa kasalukuyan?
Opo. So ang pinakamalaking banta po ay climate change because climate change brings with it typhoons. They come more often, they are more intense, and because of this also the erosion of the bird islet is hastened by these incidents, and then also the water temperature becomes too hot and we've lost a lot of corals to bleaching because of climate change. And so it's also very uncertain what's going to happen next. It's very hard to respond and to be proactive with something that is so global, you know? And yeah, like a human body, if you are strong, your immune system is strong, you won't catch an illness quickly. And that is what we try to do with Tubataha. We make it healthy. We try, we eliminate all human negative impacts and things like that so that it remains strong and is able to be resilient in the face of the impacts of climate change. And so, yeah, that is the main issue right now.
Yes. And I guess that also answers the question of Miss Carmen. And may I just read po? She says, how often and how much do storms damage the reef? And has damage from storm worsened over time because of climate change? If you want
Yes,
to
alam
add
nyo, storms did not used to form in the Sulu Sea. Several decades ago, you would not see a storm forming in the Sulu Sea. And so Tubataha did not have a lot of coral damage due to storms. I'm sure Carmen has witnessed a lot of rubble and a lot of coral destruction in Tubataha. And those are caused by the storms that are now hitting the direct path of Tubataha, and causing large waves to crash onto the corals and to destroy and damage corals. And so yes, yeah, it's a growing concern, but it's like we can't respond to it. It's a climate change issue. We do our best. But
I would just like to ask Miss Carmen here. I think are you the Miss Carmen Tang from Jane Goodall Institute in Singapore, ma'am?
I am.
Thank you so much.
Oh no,
Hi,
I
Carmen.
really appreciate. I'm so okay. Let me see if I can turn on my video, my camera here. Is it working? Hi. Sorry, I'm in the kitchen feeding my dog. Yeah. So no,
Hi,
yeah.
Carmen.
Hello. I really, really enjoyed the dive site. It was really beautiful, and it was like we really thank you very much for what you do. Yeah.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did not see the whale shark. We did not see the manta, but I've never seen so many sharks on one dive in my
And baby sharks, huh, Carmen? I love those.
Yes,
Those are
yes.
my favorites.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And in fact, my husband and I were already thinking about coming back.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, so maybe,
And
we will.
please send me a message when you come back. I'd like to see you personally.
Okay, we'll do.
Yeah.
We'll do. Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you so much, Carmen, for joining us this afternoon. Is it afternoon? You're in Singapore, right? So it's afternoon already in Singapore. Thank you again, and thank you for appreciating Tubataha Reefs. We have another question from the chat box. Sian, hello po. I'm currently a biology student and I really want to be more involved in conservation, especially marine conservation. May I ask po, what qualifications and experience should I have in order to work with people like you?
Well, just finish your course, become one of the top students in your study well, is what I'm saying. I always tell this to everyone, galingan natin, di ba? Pag ginalingan natin, talagang it's easy to open doors. Yeah. Sige, gain some experience, study well, and come and see us.
Baka na-open yung ano
If you
natin.
dive, you can be a volunteer.
Thank you, Sian, for your question. Another question from Ms. Laririt. I think Ms. Laririt is one of our teachers from the Philippine International Schools Teacher Association here in Jeddah, if I'm not mistaken. Isa pong katanungan, paano po natin maisasama sa pagtuturo ang kahalagahan ng Tubataha Reef upang mahubog ang mga mag-aaral bilang responsableng tagapangalaga ng ating likas na pamana?
Yun, dito po, for us, we have books for children that we make, and yung para sa grade 6 to grade 12 yata, it's science. Di ba nasa science, it's also in the sciences, It's also in, ano yung, well, yung subject sa mga bata sa schools. Yung Tubataha can be in the sciences and in the values, in the value studies, di ba? Because conservation is, a love for nature is one of the values. I think that should be included there. And we can send you, Loretta, some of our children's books. Diba? Para, just to read it to kids. Because for kids, it's just developing that wonder and awe for nature, di ba? Yung parang mamangha lang siya, ganun lang muna. Hindi niya na maintindihan yung number of species of fish and number of corals, di ba? Yung mabigla lang siya at I don't remember, ano tawag doon? Wonder ba? Di ba? Yung ganun, that's really important for kids. It's important for us to open the eyes of children kasi kukonti lang po ang gusto ng field na ito. Wala akong maraming yumayaman dito sa field na conservation and taking care of nature. So, we'd like to inspire more young people to join the ranks of marine conservationists.
Thank you, Mama Ranger, for offering your books. I think we also have another interested participant. How can we avail po the books for kids? We are also interested here in Kuwait. So probably we can, after this webinar, we can
Yes.
message you po regarding this.
Yes, please. Yes, Crystal, please. Yeah, because we would like for the issue and the news of Tubataha to go far and wide. So yeah, please send us a message to Crystal. Siguro they know how to reach
Yes
you and
po.
you will sige. We'll send
Yes po, we can facilitate.
books for
Thank you
kids.
po. I think we have last two questions. We'll entertain last two questions, Mama Ranger. This question is from Mr. Michael Galang. He's interested in your typical workday. What does it look like? And what do you prefer? Do you prefer to be sa dagat, sa Tubataha, or on land?
Siyempre naman po, mas gusto natin sa field. Kasi dito, sige lang tayong looking for funds, writing reports, and all that, di ba? But in the field, my typical work day is I wake up at 7 to dive, and I dive again at 10:30, another one at 2 o'clock, and another one at 4 o'clock. So I do 4 dives a day. And when we are doing research, we do 2 dives a day. It's, being underwater, you forget everything, di ba? You just watch the fish. When the fish think nobody's looking, they do so many silly things. And they're so much fun to watch. Diba? So yun, that's my favorite place to be. Of course, that's Tubataha. Ito po yung book. How do I show it? It's about a clownfish. It's just about the issues that we face in Tubataha. But again, it does not have to be Tubataha, di ba po? It's just the ocean in general. Any ocean faces almost the same problems that we are facing. And so, lahat ng dagat natin kailangan ng tulong. Kailangan ho nating maging Jedi for the ocean.
Thank you po. May humabol na question. So I'll read these last two questions po siguro. One is, meron po bang time na nasira ang coral reefs at paano po ang recovery nila? And then siguro I'll just add yung last question from our cultural officer, si Fatima. Mama Ranger, I understand that tourism is also one way of supporting the conservation of Tubataha reefs. May I ask how much it would cost for an individual visitor to experience and visit the Tubataha reefs? These are two different questions po pala, ma'am.
Oo. Ano na nga ulit yung first? I'm an old person. I'm
The first
65.
question po is, may time daw po ba na nasira yung mga
nasira.
corals and
Yeah.
how do they recover? I
Oo.
remember po pala, hindi ko to alam before, pero natutunan ko po kay Attorney Jerty Anda during our environmental law class. She told us na ang corals ay animals, hindi pala sila plants. Kasi all along, akala ko plants sila. So, animals daw po ang corals.
Yes, akala nga po ng iba bato ang corals. That's a common question when we do a quiz like that. So there was a time in the 80s, Kasi wala namang management. Alam nyo, ang daming mga fishing vessels dumarating dyan hanggang Taiwan na fishing vessels nakakarating dyan, naglo-long line. Ang daming nagsa-cyanide fishing, nagda-dynamite fishing because there was no enforcement. And so in 1988, ginawa yung park ni Corazon Aquino. She established it, yung former president natin. But in 1989, we saw a 52% decline in coral cover. Kasi ginawa lang natin siyang park in paper, pero wala namang nagbantay talaga. There was no enforcement to speak of. And so fishers got the eggs of the turtle, eggs of the bird, to the effect that one of our seabirds got extinct for a while and all that. Pero ngayon po, because we are managing it, we have rangers 24/7. So bumalik na rin yung coral cover and it's improving now. So right now we are experiencing coral declines during bleaching events, which we had a few years ago. Pero yun na nga, parang wala tayong magawa tungkol dun sa bleaching event. So that was an issue with us. And the question about how to go to Tubataha, how much it is. There are scuba diving vessels that operate there. The job of this office is to conserve Tubataha and to make sure that the ecosystem remains healthy and viable. It's not our job to sell the trips to tourists, right? Hindi ho natin kalakasan yun. So there are dive boats, 16 of them that operate in Tubataha, and they sell trips for 1 week to dive in Tubataha. The least expensive one is about $2,000 on a smaller boat. And on some of the boats, it's $10,000. Some of the boats charge 4,500 euro. And the conservation fee to visit Tubataha is 5,000 pesos. So medyo mahal po siya talaga because it's far. Do you know that even for us, when we do our research trips, we spend 1 million pesos because of the fuel. It's so far, lalo na po nung nagkagulo yung ano natin. So yeah, so that's it's very costly to get there, but you know, inaalagaan pa rin natin siya. So the tourism industry contributes 50% of the management funds that we need every year. So yung 50% po, we beg, steal, and borrow. We don't steal, of course, bawal. We beg and, meaning we apply for grants and we look for funds elsewhere. External donors are what we rely on to cover the 50%.
And I believe you can only go to Tubataha for some months. It's you cannot go to Tubataha for the entire
Opo.
year. Parang
Opo. Because of the weather condition, it's only you can only visit it for 3 months of the year, 3 to 4 months of the year, in March until June. Because the rest of the year, it's very rough. Kasing laki ng bahay yung mga alons. In fact, when we have to rotate the rangers, sometimes it's very rough. We get delayed by the rough seas. And so we are sometimes unable to rotate them on time. So yeah, so only 3 months of the year. And so we collect conservation fees for 3 months, but we try to stretch that and use it for 12 months, diba? Which is kind of hard.
I think that's the last of the questions in our chat box. Unless someone from the Zoom wants to add another question, just raise your hand. Otherwise, so we're good. Thank you once again, Mama Ranger, for introducing
Pleasure.
many of us to the wonderful underwater world of Tubataha. It's such a great honor po to have you with us in our celebration of our National Heritage Month. And of course, in celebrating this living Filipino heritage and the Filipinos' gift to the world. And of course, thank you po sa ating mga participants for joining us and for your engaging questions and enthusiasm sa ating webinar today. On behalf of the Philippine Consulate General in Jeddah, we thank you all for your participation and for your support. But before we go, I would just like to present the certificate of appreciation to our resource speaker. Can we present So let me just read the citation po. The Philippine Consulate General in Jeddah presents this certificate of appreciation to Miss Angelique Mama Ranger Morato Songko, Protected Area Superintendent, Tubataha Reefs Natural Park, in grateful recognition and sincere appreciation of her invaluable support as resource speaker during the webinar entitled Tubataha Reefs, A Living Heritage of the Filipino People, conducted on May 31, 2026 via Zoom platform in celebration of National Heritage Month, and for her meaningful contribution to advancing awareness of maritime and environmental conservation and promoting appreciation of the Philippines' rich natural heritage, given this 31st day of May 2026 in Jeddah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This is ma'am signed by our Consul General Romel Romato, and I'm going for vacation to the Philippines, so I will hand carry the physical copy
wow.
of
Thank
your
you.
certificate of
Wow.
appreciation po. I'll hope to see you in
You're coming to
Palawan.
Palawan?
I'm from Palawan.
But are you coming to Palawan on your vacation?
Ano po, by the end of June. So hopefully, you're there po. Wala kayo sa
Coffee, let's have
Tubataha.
coffee.
Yes po, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Ma'am.
much. It's been so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you po. But we will have a photo opportunity. Can I just request everyone to turn on their cameras? Yes po. Someone will take a photo. So 3 pages po. Smile lang po.
Okay, ready?
Wait lang.
Ready? Okay, ready po tayo? Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile for the first page. Okay, second page po tayo. Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. And third page po. Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Maraming salamat po ulit sa inyo and
God bless
magandang
you all.
hapon.
God bless you there sa Jeddah. Take care. See you.
Nagplan ka pa ng babasig. Ay, hindi ko ito po.